Well, I know that a lot of preachers simply are too afraid to actually deal with biblical issues. And what I mean by biblical issues is this. Today we live in a world where preachers are literally afraid of government more than they fear God. I mean, after all, there are some things that's just simply not up for debate. I really think more than anything, you yourself, rather than always trying to default to what preachers say and use them as the final word, use the word as the final word and then stand on your own 2 feet. I mean, after all, I'm a pastor, but I'm not here to correct every aspect of your life. Matter of fact, I'm not here to correct any of it. All I am here is to present the truth to you, and then it's up to you whether you choose to live it or not, because after all, they're not my laws. But I do obey them because I fear God above man. Now, most of you need to understand that government is trying to play God. All right? Period. That's what this government does. Government plays God because they believe that they are God. They're not interested in the Bible. They're not interested in his commandment. They're not interested in his laws, because if they were, they would not pass homosexuality, making it a reality that it is approved form of life, and then be so against what the Bible clearly says and defines as some men that are in the faith chapter in Hebrews 11, and you will see them in the kingdom. They were polygynists. King David. I talk about these things because people, they would rather kick them to the side and leave them alone and avoid them because it's too painful right here in the heart to admit the truth. I say it again. You're not against me. God did not ask me to represent my opinion or your opinion when he called me. He asked me to represent his truth, and that's it. And that's all that matters. Now, it's up to you. Well, if you have the spirit of truth or not, because after all, you are not against me. You're against the creator universe. I said all that to say, now I got a video, not a video, but I actually have a communique come in. And of course, you notice these are laced questions, and you're not going to get me to back down from what the Bible says, because it's clear. It doesn't take interpretation. It doesn't take all that. It's just very clear. They asked me, what is my point of view or perspective on chastening children? I say you should take a stick and chasten them. And of course, now here my proof text, Proverbs 22:15. Foolishness is bound in the heart of the child, but the rod of correction shall drive it far from him. In other words, you want a child to stop being foolish? Go out there and get a stick, get a rod, and put it on their behind. Proverbs 23:13. Withhold not correction from the child, for if thou beatest him with a rod, he shall not die. Isn't that amazing? America is something else, and all this philosophy is this satanic paganism and theologies and ideologies that's trying to hide behind righteousness. A wicked ass country that always trying to champion itself as the epitome of righteousness, when the main religion of it, Christianity, is nothing but Satanism, paganism rehashed. That's all it is. It's nothing but Eastern and Western mysticism and stuff. And you people, you should be upset. Many of you out there. Now, those of you who believe the book, believe the Bible, you're going to find out you really truly don't have any issues with me at all, because I support what the book says. And I'm sure many of you do too. What I don't support is religion. And you can forget that. Not none of these man-made religions. How in the world? Anyway, Proverbs 29:15 says, the rod of reproof giveth wisdom, but a child left to himself bringeth his mother to shame. Why you think, for instance, look at this guy. He's 25 years old, and he's over here knocking out 40 and 50-year-old women. I'm glad that the cops called him too. Now he's going to get beat. You see, if you don't chasten your child now, as a result, you're going to raise a nation of children that have bastard mindsets. And of course, a bastard is not someone born out of wedlock like you've been conditioned to think. Just like adultery is not someone having sex with another man or another woman like you think. And I'll probably talk about these things later. And because most of you don't know what fornication is, you don't know what adultery is. Matter of fact, there's a lot of things you just simply don't know. You have a secular Christian mindset of what you think and believe that they are because the church, the Catholics, have established certain things. You know, it's just utterly amazing when you really truly look at it. And then, of course, you have the problem with, Christians champion themselves as the epitome of all righteousness who are proud to be Americans. They actually think they got it right too. So, I made a video some time ago, and let me go back here for a second. In other countries, if you did a crime, they would give you a public flogging. America, they're not interested in public flogging. They got to keep those prisons functioning very well, because they're on the stock market. And we got to get that slave labor. We don't call it slave labor no more. We just put everybody in the prison for the smallest things so we can keep the bottom line coming in with that cheap labor. America, the land of free, home of the brave, right? And yet we imprison more people than the whole entire world. That includes communist China. A lot of things need to be checked out here. It really does.